Okay, so I just did the thermostat. Now I'm doing the main hose that leaves the thermostat that goes down to the bottom of the radiator. What I did was I put in the hose, and what I did was I put grease on the inside of the hose and on the tip of the thermostat, so it would just slip right on. And then what I did was I put my own uh, ring clamp on there, so if I had to go back and do this job over again, or if something didn't sit right or whatever, I could get to it easier rather than using the clamps like that one right there that comes from the manufacturer. They're just a bitch to work with. I understand their purpose, but they're a pain in the ass. At least this one, this is an 8 millimeter. This is the same as like the water pump that I just replaced, and the thermostat, which is right here. This is the leaving hose, and this is the internal hose. This is the one that gives the majority of the coolant back to the thermostat. They're all 8 millimeters. So I did that on purpose so that if I needed to do this job again, it could be quicker and more efficient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this one here, and then you see that one down there? I did the same thing. I placed it. Now that one down there I couldn't reach, so what I did was very carefully I lowered down a grinder with a disc and kept it in place, and I cut off the clamp that was similar to this one, because I just couldn't get anything around it. So what I'm going to do with that one is I greased up the inside and the outside, and I'm going to turn the hex nut upwards so I can reach it like this one and set it in place. The issue with this hose is it goes down and curves back around at the bottom of the radiator. It's not that hard to install, honestly, if you take out the reservoir like I did earlier and the engine mount. And in this case, I still have the jack underneath the car. All right, and then I have a block of wood about yay big on top of the jack, and that is literally underneath the oil pan. And all I did was lift up. The oil pan on the 2014 Ford Focus is to the left, and you'll see a clear spot right there, probably about 6 inches wide, underneath for you to actually place the block of wood underneath the jack. And then once you release the engine mount over here, like in my previous videos, you'll see, you release the engine mount, and the engine mount will come up a little bit, and then you release the two nuts here, and this is what your engine mount will look like. I'm sorry. This is the engine mount here. All right, that's the two parts, and then these two have the nuts that literally go over it, and those two nuts literally screw down in here. I believe those are 18s, and then these are 15 millimeters. They're not hard to do. What is hard is to make sure that the oil pan is in position whenever you lift up. But after that, the engine will come up, and for me, I was looking at previous videos, and I was able to work on my water pump, which I just need to put the pulley back on, and my thermostat. And I did some extra shit on my thermostat, honestly. It already has a gasket, and for the most part, you don't need to put any kind of sealant on there. I don't want to go back and do my job over again, so with my thermostat, I put an extra sealant on the outside of the gasket and then set it inside. And just like with anything, you don't do like one screw at a time and tighten it all the way in. What you can't see is there's this screw, and then right below that one over there, probably about 3 inches, 2 inches down, there's another screw. And it's just those three. Once you put those in, like I said, it's 18 millimeters, and I have an air ratchet. Where's that? Right here. But there's no way in hell to fit it back there. So if you guys can, or you guys have more knowledge than I do, by all means, please leave me something in the comment section. I couldn't figure out how to get back there. So what I did was I used an offset with an 8 millimeter, and then I just backed it with a 3/8 ratchet and just tried to get it in there. And I sat it as hard as I could, and then, I sat it probably an eighth of it away, and then I went ahead and set the other two. So after this hose, honestly, I think I'm done, and I'm gonna do the rebuild and just put it all back together. I'll show you in the next video how I put everything back together, but in the meantime, this is it. So So I'm gonna set that back in place in there, and all you do is reach down. All right, let me see. That one's in place here. So in my case, I'm gonna reach down over here this way. If I can reach back there. And put it back in place, but actually I need my right hand. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna set my phone down here. It's cooling underneath there, so I'm a little afraid of it dropping in. But okay. Take this away. See, take my phone off. Just way harder that way. And honestly, with the grease, everything is just gonna slide right on. Oh. So what you can see is I just got it just barely on there, right there. You can see the way it shapes back around into like a U. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna get the clamp, set it up just like that one, and put everything in place and do a rebuild back to its original state, and then fill up the fucking radiator and hope I did everything correctly. So we'll see. Peace.